Hey guys, it's Marla at Twinstrology. Welcome back. I just want to do a quick video today about Uranus moving into Taurus, and I want to just touch on a few major themes. This is going to be a rather long transit. It's going from 2018 till approximately 2026. There will be some fluctuations at the beginning of the transit and the end of the transit has Uranus is at the border lines. But the sign of Taurus represents your money, your possessions, all the things that you value. And it represents your sense of stability in your life and how you feel secure. And often our stability and our security are tied to the things that we have, the things that we possess, and how much money we have in the bank. And so this is the area where Uranus, the planet of change, is going to be shifting into. And Uranus likes to shake things up. So how is this energy going to be affecting us? Well, first of all, as I mentioned, Taurus represents our possessions and our sense of stability and security around those possessions. And we can develop an over attachment to material things because of that. And so this is the first area where Uranus is going to shake things up. So if people have a strong ego attachment to the things that they possess, okay, that is likely to be explored with this transit, maybe through loss or gain of material possessions. And Uranus is sudden changes, so either one of those things can happen. Taurus can also represent stuck energy. It's fixed energy and it doesn't like to change. Think of that bull in the field, and you really can't get that bull to do something that it doesn't want to do. So with Taurus, there's a sense of getting a little bit into your comfort zone, getting into a rut, and then not wanting to change. So again, Uranus is going to come in, shake things up so that you're forced to kind of explore where you might be stuck. So with Uranus moving in here, you're going to be looking at old patterns and fears related to money and possessions. And there's likely to be fluctuations in the world economy, but Spirit is telling me that it's really not something that we need to worry or stress about. And just think long-term picture with this. But the last time that Uranus was in Taurus was during the Great Depression and World War II. So what happened in that period, right? You could not buy anything. You either didn't have the money, or if you did manage to get the money, things just weren't available because it was wartime. So people had to really confront their beliefs around money and possessions, and they had to make major adjustments there. Their whole sense of security and stability in their life was taken away during that time period. So that's kind of like a radical change. I don't expect that things will be that radical during this transit, but that we are going to get shaken up here, because as part of the awakening process, as part of shifting to the new earth, we have to let go of material attachments. And we have to stop valuing ourselves strictly by our bank accounts, or what car we drive, or what label is on our handbag, or the clothes that we wear. Okay, we have to look into what we value on a deeper level, on a soul level, and we have to let go of more of the, I want to say shallow, but I mean, does this mean that you can't have nice things? Of course not. But the trick is you don't want to develop some kind of ego attachment. And this is really a challenge for our society these days, as too many people are focused on materialism. They aren't developing themselves at a soul level. They aren't looking to expand and grow. They're only looking to be judged by their wealth and what they have. And all of that is an illusion. And it's something that can be taken away in the drop of a hat. So this is going to be an area that we really need to shift. So with Uranus now moving into Taurus, he's going to be trining Saturn. He has been trining Saturn, of course. But Saturn is in Capricorn, and so a lot of truths are going to be exposed through this transit on the world stage level, especially around our leaders, our political leaders, and those that are involved in the banking and finance industry and larger corporations. But what I keep hearing is justice. Justice will be done, and we just have to allow the process to take its course and not let ourselves get too stirred up or shaken up by the things that happen, and just trust that everything is happening for the greater good of all. Again, I'm not trying to scare anybody, or I'm not feeling like, there's doom and gloom happening, but I'm just expect the unexpected. And so when the unexpected thing happens, often that makes people question, or some people will panic a little bit. But it's like, as I said at the beginning of this, stay calm, because Spirit is saying that we really don't have anything to worry about if we've been working on our own growth. So things will come out related to world leaders and larger corporations and things that have been doing any kind of dirty dealing behind closed doors. But I'm being shown that light workers are going to be protected from a lot of this kind of fluctuation that could happen, because this shift into Taurus is working in combination with our ability to manifest, and also our ability to release past life trauma around loss. And I'm thinking about financial losses, perhaps loss of your home. And when we suffer in past lives with that kind of struggle, that makes us that much more keener to attach to possessions and material things in this life, because there's a fear there, often a repressed fear that these things could be taken away and you could end up homeless or without that financial security. So we're needing to heal that trauma. And it could have come about through wars or natural disasters, something like that. So karmic attachments to these things, to material possessions, will become more clear to you. And the more that we can let go of our need for material possessions, which is directly related to our past life fears and trauma, and to that loss that I just spoke about, the more that we're able to manifest. Can you see the connection that I'm making here? Because we're shifting more and more as the Earth is ascending and we're moving to the 5D, we're shifting to the ability to create our reality. In order to create our reality, we have to let go of attachments. But if we have this life or past life fears, that if we don't have material possessions, that we're not safe and secure, then that is going to hinder us. Because our ego is always going to be in fear that what if these things get taken away? Or it's going to stop you from taking a risk that you need to take because you might fear the financial loss of taking that risk. So, I mean, I'm not saying to go out and be stupid with your money, especially with Uranus involved here, but you will be guided at certain points to take a leap of faith on things, whether that's in your career or, it could be moving locations, but it could be in some way attached to your sense of safety and security. And that's where the letting go of the attachment comes into play. You have to remember that this attachment is just fear-based. It's karmic. And you have to shift that attachment to love. Most of us, or I won't say most of us, maybe that's too strong, but many of us own much more than we really need anyways because of this desire to have material possessions. Again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but having a lot of material possessions can weigh on your soul a little bit. If you're financially strapped, right, that's going to weigh on your soul. If you feel like you need to buy things to keep up with the Joneses, that's going to put a stress and limitation on you. So if you're buying something because it really well and truly brings you joy and pleasure, then more power to you. But if you're buying something just to fill up a hole because of some unhealed aspect of your ego or some fear of judgment, or you need that quick fix because you're feeling depressed and down in the dumps, then that kind of thing isn't going to fly. We're needing to simplify our lives because it's part of the letting go process and creating space for new things. And I think that as this transit goes on, we'll see this shift where more people will be wanting to free themselves from the responsibility. And it can be a big responsibility to maintain and care for all these things. If you have a big house and a big yard and several cards, and a lot of credit card debt, all of those things need maintenance and take time. And I think people are going to start to want to shift to having more free time for themselves rather than just taking care of their possessions. So I'm thinking like we'll be switching to smaller cars, smaller houses, and not needing so much in our lives. At the beginning of this transit, we're going to have Uranus squaring the nodes, which are in Leo and Aquarius, and as I mentioned, also making this trine to Saturn. So there is a lot of karma involved, and there's going to be a lot of karmic releasing, especially at the beginning of this transit, and doing a lot of clearing. And I'm thinking about, in particular, like this year, there'll be a lot of stuff coming up. There'll be a lot of old programming being shown to you around your feelings for what you value. And Uranus, besides being square the nodes and trining Saturn, it's also going to be square Mars retrograde, and it's going to be active during the eclipse seasons. So June, July, and August, is likely going to be a time where there's major shifting going on. And, you're likely to be dealing with triggers and probably around some of the themes that I'm talking about. Okay, remember, Taurus can be that stagnant energy. And one of the tarot cards that I associate with Taurus is the Four of Pentacles. And if you recall, that's a man and he's got his arms like this and he's clutching his money and he's got his pentacles underneath his feet and he's just trying to hold on so tightly to what he possesses. And when we do that, when we try to hold on to something so tightly like that, we're not letting the energy flow. We become very rigid. And so we're needing to look at where we're holding this stagnant energy, where we're creating this limitation and where we're not letting things flow in our life, where we're not wanting to change or move forward. Okay, because Uranus here is going to bring in expansion on a soul level, and it's going to be a lot easier to let go of things, and a lot of our old sense of identity is going to be changing around this transit, because one of the things that's coming up that I'm getting is, how do you value yourself and how do others value you? Okay, and it's going to be a time for you to show your uniqueness. Many of you have skills and abilities that you've brought from past lives or things that you've learned, but you've been afraid to show them because you don't feel that they'll be accepted, or you feel like they're outside of the norm, or they're gifts and abilities that you haven't fully recognized within yourself yet. But you'll begin exploring this area, and it's time for you to take these abilities, and share them, to bring them out of the closet, because they're part of your life purpose. And this is happening in conjunction with Chiron and Aries, which I've also done a video about, in which, as Chiron moves through Aries as well, the place where Uranus last was, we've done so much work on who we are and being okay in our identity, and beginning to speak out and become more empowered. And that is just going to continue with this transit. So light workers are getting on their path, and they're ready to speak their truth. So start seeing the value in the skills and abilities that you possess. As I said, you're going to be speaking your truth more, speaking out more. And the area of the body that Taurus rules is your throat. And they're showing me the throat chakra because it's time now. It's time to be our beautiful, unique selves and value each of our uniqueness instead of trying to get everybody to be the same. And as we see the uniqueness and beauty within ourselves, that's allowing us to get more and more empowered. It's a great time to learn new skills and to teach skills that you have, and maybe learn a new skill so that you can teach it. But definitely, there's several things going on that are relating to our empowerment, our truth, and how we're taking this out to our mission. Because we're dealing with the throat chakra with this transit, and as I said, we're getting more and more capable and powerful in our manifestation abilities. That also relates to the throat. And you're needing to watch your words, because your words are getting very powerful. in accordance with your ability to manifest. So you want to make sure that you're using words that you want more of, rather than using words or language that you're not wanting. You want to keep it positive. Another thing that I feel with this transit is that we're going to be getting more in tune with our sensual side, with our love of life and our passion. And this is needed as well for our ability to manifest, because the more we're enjoying ourselves and the more we're focusing ourselves on positivity and our creativity, the better we're able to manifest. I know there's something else I want to say. I can't remember it now. All right. Well, then I think I'm going to leave it there. But an exciting time, because there's change in the air. And definitely what I'm getting is that we have reason to expect nothing but abundance in our life. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want more information about me or personal reading, you can visit my website, which is twinstrology.com. Thanks. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.